Yu Suzuki reminisces about Shenmue and honestly expresses a little bit of interest in Shenmue 3. Well, honestly, he voices his opinion on, or at least like what, or he voices that he would like to work on Shenmue 3. As we all know, recently the Shenmue, I believe, the patent on it has kind of worn out. I believe, I kind of remember that. It's like Nintendo, Sega, they kind of lost the rights to it or something like that, or they didn't reclaim the patent on it. So now I think that it's kind of lost in the waves now, or honestly until somebody kind of like gets that and decides to breathe more life into it. But as far as this story goes, it's Yu Suzuki, the man behind Shenmue. He reminisced all about like how he started making games and how he was after Virtua Fighter, when he thought that Virtua Fighter would be one of those groundbreaking games, and honestly it was, but for people to only play it for 3 minutes and they were only focused onto the fighting, it was almost like a Jonathan Blow thing to Braid. However, for Braid, it was more or less like, unlike Braid, it was more of like, it was understandable because it's a fighting game in which that you only take like 3 minutes to do a match, or if you up the scale, it could be a little bit longer. So that's kind of the thing of you not really getting interested into the character stories, their background. You really would have to look for their stories and everything. And that's honestly kind of the thing which kind of motivated him to say, yeah, I want to make a game using these same systems, but I want to make a story game in which that it could pull people in and I can care about the characters, what they're going through and all these other things. And pretty much, and that's kind of where the ideas of Shenmue kind of came from. Well, especially since that he said that what actually sparked it was when he went to a trip to China, and that's kind of led him into actually forming the story itself. I'm pretty much paraphrasing it here, but after that, it was one of the biggest projects out there at the time, because I still have the Shenmue 3, the Shenmue 2 disc on Xbox, and it does go over the making of Shenmue 1 and how difficult that was, all the way to them. I think that was like the first game to actually use the active time system, and that is something which did actually kind of take up a lot of their time, because they had to work on making that and actually trying to work that in with the game. And it's something to honestly to hear him talk about that and Shenmue 2 and honestly how long it took them to make that. However, as he was talking about Shenmue 2, somebody did speak up and ask, what about Shenmue 3? And the only thing Mr. Suzuki could do was just smile and say that he wanted to work on Shenmue 3 if he was given the opportunity. Which did honestly kind of make me think. For all of these old games in which that people they do love and they do want to see sequels to, well, games that actually leave you off with a cliffhanger like how Shenmue 2 did, and honestly the story behind Shenmue 1, I mean, for games like that to actually have stories which do have cliffhangers and that you do want to see more of, it's something of like, you wonder if that the companies that they just don't allow them to make it because they don't want them to either spend way more manpower on it, or they don't want to waste time on it, or something like that, or they're waiting for the perfect opportunity. However, I will say this: I feel as that like if I do see Shenmue 3, I would be happy to see it, because I am actually a fan of it and I do really love the first one and the second one. I mean, that is the reason why I do like the Yakuza series so much, even though the fourth one isn't necessarily the strongest in the story. I still kind of appreciate it. I don't like Dead Souls all that much, but honestly, for what Yakuza is, it started from a genuine place and slowly turned into this franchise, which is something that I was kind of hoping to see in Shenmue 2, with it being released and having a super strong story and you caring about the main characters and what they had to go through, especially with the cliffhanger ending. You really wanted to see more of it. So honestly, with hearing of the recent news of what happened to the Shenmue title, hopefully we do get a 3 sometime in the near future, but I doubt that we will. So pretty much, I love Shenmue. I pretty much hope we do get a 3, and I do hope that Mr. Yu Suzuki, he does get a chance to work on it. So that's pretty much what I gotta say about that. What do you guys think about it? Please tell me down there in the comment section. I'll catch you guys on the next John Graves show. So please keep watching anime, keep playing video games. I am out.